everybody, welcome to the Pink Riot Comic Show. It's your girl Keisha, aka Hot Havoc, and I am here with my amazingly talented, brilliantly awesome co-host, Bree. How are you, love?
Hey, boo. I'm doing good. How are you?
I am great. I just did all of that and got us into Instagram, like record
Period.
time.
Listen, y'all. One time for Keisha because the way that she be working all of the buttons and the apps and the this and the that's, and I just be like, my name is Darshan.
As long as you understand,
Yes.
as long as you got it.
At some point, I
Yep.
will learn all of the specialty things so we could
Oh
give our
yeah,
girl a break. But she just naturally
I know you didn't just say
up
naturally.
all of the things. Maybe not naturally, but she's brilliant. Brilliant girl. Brilliant girl.
I'll take it. I'll
So
take
I'm
it.
taking this time to say, yes, Brianna is currently a Darshan and will get better at her life. But until then, y'all show Keisha some love in the comments because she be working all of the things. And yeah, love her down for that.
Hold on. I wish I could get to the applause button faster.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
We get a little
Yeah.
commotion for all of the things. Yes.
Yes.
Period. And then she has the nerve to do all of that stuff and still show up here looking cute as a button.
The way I
Y'all.
grew this on, you know what? I'll take the compliment. Thank you.
That's how you know you fire when all you have to do is pop up and stunt. Hey Rachel, how are you?
Oh snap! Ajira's in the comments and Instagram.
Hey Ajira. LT says, hey
Hey,
Vixen and
Ajira.
Havoc. Techno Havoc be doing the thing. Period. Oh, I
Mm,
love that. The alter
I like
ego
that too.
Techno Havoc. That
I like
sound
that too.
that's giving your villain alter ego, for being honest.
Cyberpunk. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
LT. LT, we love you down. That's another area where we need to drop some flowers because you be holding it down all the time.
Shout out to
Period.
LC.
Yes. Rachel said Keisha is magic. I wish I had like a star sparkle sound because that's what it looks like. And I agree 100%.
We
LT
gotta get more sounds.
and do. And LT says, and happy birthday once again, Variant Vixen. Thank you. You guys, my birthday was on the 31st, and I'm so glad that you guys came through and helped me share and celebrate. And the way that I have just been lavishing in the book gifts and comic book gifts, I'm excited. And somebody actually listened to me and got me a Cape and Cal gift card for my birthday. So I
Oh
could go buy
snap!
some comics.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We're gonna use this applause button since I can get to it quickly.
Period.
All right. Oh snap!
Yes.
I like that.
LT said, "Oh, thank you. Love y'all too." Yeah, we love you down, LT. You know
LT,
this.
you are the best. Oh, but
Yes,
I
Rachel.
go back to this gift card you got.
Yes, I got a Cape and Cal gift card. I'm so excited.
I
So,
love that.
one of the folks who is doing their thing actually listens when I talk. And so that's how you know. That's how you know. Because I literally was like, yeah, what do you want for your birthday? Oh, I always want books or makeup. Like
Yes.
always. And it's well, with all of the books that you have, how do I know what books to get you? I'm like, I'm so glad you asked. Because if you had come up in here with the wrong things, actually I'm not that picky. I would have just been like, I already have these, but thank you. But yeah, I was like,
No.
I have a wish list. Or you can never go wrong with getting me gift cards for my local comic shop because I'm in there all the time. So they
Gift
listen.
cards are truly the best because I don't feel
Period.
like going through my library. Like,
Period.
just let me do that later.
Right. Right. The way that Keisha has reminded me on multiple occasions that I literally need to make it a series of cataloging all of my books, because right now the way my collection is set up, It's small vibes and good energy. You know what I'm saying?
It's chaos.
Okay, it is utter chaos. You know,
It's
Keisha,
chaos.
she wasn't gonna let me make it with that, y'all.
Absolutely not. It's pure chaos.
No,
And
it
that's
is.
why we need to have a series where, you're organizing the chaos.
I
Like
feel
chaos
like
can be organized a bit.
I feel like I will be judged to filth, but I'm thinking about it. She has harassed me about it enough where it makes sense, guys. Rachel said, "Yes, happy birthday month, period." Because I'm celebrating from the 31st to the 31st. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Hey, Dwayne. LT said, "Wait, that was a blank marker. Happy birthday." Since I don't know the number, LO. Yeah, that's, and you know what, LT? Another reason we keep you around because you're smart. We left that part blank on purpose.
On purpose.
Mind your business, okay?
When mine come, I'm gonna be very proud of it. I'm gonna tell you, look, I earned them years. I'm gonna say it.
I love that for you. I'm not quite there yet, so we're gonna just be 21 for another probably 7 years. That's fine. LT said, LT said, "Oh, that T-shirt havoc. Show us the message. Period."
Yeah. Okay, so this is Black Books Matter. It's from Mahogany Bookstore in DC. Shout out to hubby. He bought it for me when he was out in
Oh, that's a
DC.
good man, Savannah.
Oh, he is.
Good
He is
man.
absolutely best. Yeah, Black Books Matter. I love it.
Love it. Good evening,
Tashi, what's up? Oh wait, Ajira wrote a bunch of stuff on Instagram. They said happy birthday year. And I would be so delighted to come help you out, Bree. Organizing is such a good time. And it is.
Listen, Ajira, don't threaten me with a good time because the way it's like, come here, girl, let me feed you, and you can do all the organizing to your heart's content.
Organizing is the best.
I hate it.
And then they said, damn, I'm out here feeling like a pariah out here in these IG streets. This is true. I apologize for anyone on Instagram right now. Just know that majority of our chat resides on YouTube. But we can see both chats. We can see both. So,
And we appreciate you showing up wherever you do.
But we do have an awesome guest for us here today. Oh, you see his eyes go. We have an amazing guest coming tonight. He is amazing. He is a legend in Afrofuturism. He is a cartoonist. He has, you know what? We're just going to let this man come on and talk to him. Yes. I give you Tim Fielder. How you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing? Thank you so much for having me tonight. I really appreciate it. I am your student because you guys know what you're doing, and I do not. So I am learning from you as I'm. So you can ask me whatever question you want, but forgive me if I ask you questions.
Oh no, we love that.
Absolutely. Oh, I like this. Okay.
All right.
So I have Bree start.
And okay, go for it. And there is no area that you cannot touch on. And so hit me, bring the, give me what you got. Give me what you got.
We love a guest with iron cojones. Right? Come through.
Well, I don't know if they're iron. I'm almost 60. They maybe they were iron at one point, but now they're more like a liquid metal. Those days are done.
You know what? I can respect that, Tim. 100%. Right. Yeah. Okay, so we do this thing here on Pink Riot Comic Show where we love to learn about people's comic book origins because we feel like we are wanting to cultivate a space where no matter where you are in your comic book journey, no matter where you are in your Blerd journey, you can find some commonality and community in this space. So we like to start all of our special guest chats with a question of what is your comic book origin story? Like what comic got you into comics?
Well, that's interesting because I was in comics before the comic that got me into comics got me into.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay,
And
casual
I
flex.
know that's very,
Talk
I know that's like crazy, but I
No,
come from
that's
a,
epic. Tell us.
yeah, everybody's an artist in my family. All my siblings are artists. And as a result, being the youngest out of four artists, I've said this before, you don't really, are you guys your youngest children or anything like that? Any
I'm the
young?
oldest.
I'm in
Oh,
the
well,
middle.
okay. So then you should be able to relate to this. So you had younger siblings and you wanted them to
Mm.
shut up and get out of your face. So what did you do? You put something in front of them and told them, do that,
Mhm.
right? And since
Mhm.
they're hanging on your every word because they want to be around you and they just adore you and put you on a pedestal, right? You'll do anything they tell you to do, right? Because that's
Yes.
your oldest sibling. It's like, oh God. So from a very young age, my family, my brothers were all drawing comics,
Mm,
all of them. Everybody drew comics, and I was the person who was stuck with. So I draw comics, and I started God as a professional back in the '80s. But to fully answer your question, it was when I saw Heavy Metal magazine when
Okay.
I realized, oh, this is more than Marvel DC. And the Marvel DC stuff was great. I read X-Men and all that stuff. John Byrne. I read all Michael Golden is my favorite comic book artist. But the one when I knew, okay, this is something bigger, right? This you are doing something that is bigger was when I saw Mobius, his work, Inky
Mhm.
Bilal, a lot of the French bande dessinée artists really opened my world up as to what was possible. Now, of course, growing up across the street from a cotton field and reading that stuff and reconciling with that with American comics, which works totally different, right?
mm,
You
Yeah.
can have a comic book artist in France that puts out one album. They call them albums. They put out one book a year. But in the United States, you had to put out a book per month,
mm,
and that's everything. Pencils, inks, story, color, editing.
Yeah.
Everything had to be done. And you
wow.
had those projects were generally done by teams.
Mhm.
So but although I knew that, I was very much in the modality of the one man shot of, you do
Period.
everything. So that's, I hope that answers your question.
It does,
Yeah.
and we love a casual flex because we love somebody who wears many hats and can do it all. That's a rare thing.
Oh, that's just to cover up the male pattern baldness. But yeah.
Period. Okay, so
Mhm.
this is another reason why we love asking that question because
Mhm.
literally we've never gotten like two of the same answer. So you definitely like,
Yeah.
added some
Okay,
seasoning
so
to our pool of answers for that question.
wow. Okay. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It
No,
certainly
it's an
No, it's a
has
excellent
good
caused
thing.
me
thing.
problems in the past. It's like, yo, behave, behave, behave.
No, it's an
No, it's a
excellent
good
thing.
thing because
Okay.
a lot of people usually with their first comics, they'll say something from Marvel or DC
Yeah.
or some of the like the pulp comics that, we know because
Hmm.
of household names and stuff. But like
Sure.
it's really cool to get a different one because that reminded me like my experience, even though DC, that's my love. And,
Hmm.
I grew up with Marvel. The first
Hmm.
time I really got up, like fell in love with comics was, I think it was Image.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, it
Right.
was Image, Saga, or Vault Livewire.
Mm,
Right. So you get into the product of your time
yeah.
is
Yeah,
what that is. And so yes, I
yeah.
totally hear you and understand how you feel about image. Image is a thing. I guess I'll leave it at that.
100%. Okay, so you kind of answered my other question
Okay.
because that's how you got into liking comics, and you've already
Mhm.
given us your origin story in
Right.
terms of creating comics.
Mhm.
So, the core work of yours that I'm familiar with is Infinitum. So I'd love to hear from
Thank
you
you.
what listen, okay? I'd love to hear from you what was your inspiration
Mm.
to put that story out into the world?
Wow. Okay. Well, before I can fully answer that, I would have to say my perception on what Afrofuturism is has begun to change radically over the last 10 years. You know, when I first got back in the game, the comics game, because I started out in comics till like 2000 when the industry crashed. You know, Marvel declared bankruptcy around that period. And
Mhm.
I went into game design, and a metric ton of teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I went completely digital around that period. So
Mm.
I don't even draw on paper anymore. So
Oh
that's
wow.
what that was. Yeah. So it was sort of the thing that allowed me to be myself, but there was a period where I moved away from comics. But I always continued to be an Afrofuturist. It was always about Negroes and spaceships. That was my thing. So when I got
Period.
back in, yeah, when I got back in, I kept that up.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
now that I've been exposed to so many people who are all Afrofuturists, yeah, Afrofuturist writers, Afrofuturist fashion designers, costume designers,
Yeah.
you know, young Afrofuturists, you know, you guys are young and you bring a perspective to it that, you know, because I'm an old dude now, you know, I can't do what you do. So it's helpful to me to be around young folks because, you know, y'all like, yo, Tim, you know, maybe you should like shift left. You know, because you've been shifting right, but it's been tearing your leg off. So maybe try shift left, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
so that is what has been this experience. But so
I
that's the
kind of don't.
first.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I also don't want you to get too far from this point. You made a
Right, right,
comment
right.
about a shift in your perspective of what Afrofuturism is,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I don't know. My ears perked up. I'd love for you to speak.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Well, Afrofuturism is when you have a fusion of technology, uh,
Mhm.
uh, uh, speculative modalities fused together with the glue, the connective tissue is race.
Mhm.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
And that can be applied to anything.
Yeah.
It's not just science fiction, in fact. It can be applied to any form. It can be applied to, you know, writing books. It can
Mhm.
be applied to nonfiction books. I've learned because I've had to do it because I've been involved with a lot of public policy stuff as of late. It can be married to public policy,
Mm.
housing law,
Yeah.
obviously filmmaking. You know, and there are
Wow.
different types of Afrofuturists who lead the way. Ryan Coogler is a Afrofuturist. You know,
Yeah.
Sinners is Afrofuturist. You know, but you may tell you the baddest Afrofuturist film, arguably my top. I mean, Black Panther's great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Without
Mhm.
Black Panther, I would not be making the living that I make. But to me, the baddest Afrofuturist film that has ever been done is 40 Acres. Just came out with
Mm.
Danielle
Mm.
Deadwyler. Have you guys seen that yet?
No, but we love a
No,
good
All
tell us.
rant.
right. So
Yeah.
let me break it down without spoiling it. This
Period, Tim.
film, huh?
I said, period, Tim. Tell us
Uh,
something.
this movie is tailor made for YouTube.
Oh.
Okay. Let me go
This
Google
and
some.
anyone who has not seen 40 Acres, I would implore you to see it immediately. That film hits on all of the notes that any visual Afrofuturist, but like written Afro, you know, who works with written narratives and visual narratives, it hits on points that people wish they could hit on.
Oh. This
It
is high
is a
praise.
it is a
Yeah.
wonderful fusion of family, action adventure, dystopian worlds, scientific collapse, race. It doesn't shy away from that at all.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
arguably one of the greatest actors who's ever lived with Danielle Deadwyler. Just truly amazing. And I had not seen it till I was in LA, you know, in Cali during San Diego.
Period.
And
Hmm.
and my brother lives in LA, so I was staying with him, and then I would just take the bus or the train in.
Mhm.
But Monday, it was off. I had come home, and Monday I was going to be leaving on Tuesday. And he said, "Yo, man, you check this movie out." I was like, "What's this?" All right. Yeah, I heard. I read the review, but you forget about it. Like, man, well, why I got to see this? But you don't want to be rude, so you start looking at it. 10 minutes into this movie, I had to tell him to stop. Stop. I said, I don't know if this is gonna hold, because you know how you watch movies and the first half is like brilliant. You like, they can't keep it up. It's gonna fall
Mm-hmm.
off. This film maintained, and it did not fall off from beginning to end. It was just brilliant done. Uh, and I won't go into, because I want you all to get it fresh.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
made for y'all. That's what I will say.
Okay,
Okay.
period.
Is made,
Mhm.
y'all. In fact, when you see this movie, contact me and let me know
Okay.
how y'all feel about it. That's how I feel about this film. It's really
Okay.
great. But all that to say is that the beauty of seeing projects like that, the beauty of seeing uh, 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 just different modalities of working within the Afrofuturist lexicon has made me expand my idea of what I can do as an Afrofuturist.
Mm.
So
Isn't that
it's
the point?
moved. I'm sorry.
Isn't that the point? Afrofuturism
Yeah.
done
I
well.
didn't think that initially. No, because
Oh,
I'm an
Oh,
old
really?
head. Afrofuturism is this. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
just it's only this. It's only going to be that. But then you begin to meet people,
yeah,
and when you open your mind to listening to those folks,
yeah.
you begin to see it infect. And I use the word infect your own work. And when
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
Woo,
happens,
I love it.
it allows you to expand your perception of the possible beyond just the product. So
Yes.
Yes.
now I live as an Afrofuturist.
Period.
Exactly. I was
Yeah.
just talking about this online because so many people they go through their childhood and then they have this mindset and then it stops. And it's like, no,
Right,
it is not supposed to stop. You're supposed to constantly grow and change your
No
personal
question.
politics, your identities, your label is supposed to constantly evolve
right.
through like experiencing the world. I
Yeah.
love this so much. Okay, okay.
Yes.
So
Otherwise,
like
you're stagnant and dampering your energy. But I love that you said it that
right.
way. Because, and I'm glad that you're like at this point now, which is so interesting, like how different people get there. Because my introduction to, well, one of my earlier introductions to Afrofuturism as a concept and its own separate thing was
Mm-hmm.
a chat with John Jennings and
Mm-hmm.
Nalo Hopkinson.
Yep.
And that's when it hit
Mm.
me about what you're saying right now, because he used like a Nietzsche quote, because John Jennings is just deep and wonderful that way.
Yes, he
but
is.
but the core of it pretty much was like the root of the purpose of Afrofuturism is to highlight the audacity of hope and instill it in others so that it spreads. And that's
Mhm.
why I think all of us, well, I know that Keisha and I share that, but that's another reason why we hold it so close to our chest and always want
Mhm.
to, share the concept of Afrofuturism from different lenses, because it doesn't matter how that concept gets, attached to you.
Right,
You don't care how you get it, just get it.
Yeah.
You know
right.
what I mean? So that's why we're out here sharing these sharing these stories. So I love that you said it that way. But yeah, I love that.
I
It's
do
just.
have a
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Oh,
No,
I
you
was
go ahead.
gonna I do have a question. Knowing that your beliefs have evolved, I guess, since Infinitum, and I don't know if you probably don't remember this, but like you did the Sister Sci-Fi graphic novel book club, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And during that
With
time, we're
ISIS.
reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. And
Mm-hmm.
I was in that chat. That's when I
Mm-hmm.
first read Infinitum. And I remember you talking about Infinitum and how you saw how it was successful in some ways and how there was some ways you would rework it, or like some ways where you were like you were kind of iffy about, but like knowing that your mindset has changed, your viewpoints on Afrofuturism has changed, do you think there's any way you would go back to rework it or do a different story altogether?
Um, I, this is what I would say to that. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, hold on. Kind of. It's Can you guys hear them in the chat?
I hear a lot of distortion.
Yeah, I hear a lot of distortion with yours too.
Is it? I don't know. It just started up. I don't know what that is.
Bree, can you hear them?
Yes, I can hear him. I muted myself just in case I was the cause for the interference.
Okay, so is that on my end?
Yeah, I think it's on your end. Oh, we don't hear it at all.
Hold
Uh, yep. I apologize for the technical difficulties, everyone.
All right. So I don't know what's up, but is there any distortion now?
You sound
Yeah.
a little like
Yeah.
a transformer. You know what? This is how you know we were cooking a little too hard
Right?
because they're trying to interrupt this truth we're spitting on
Right?
this show right now.
All right. So do you want me to get out and come back?
Yes.
Yep. Go ahead and do that.
Okay,
Let's
I'll do
see.
that. All right. So
All
let
right.
me see if I can get
Period.
out
LT
here.
says.
Yeah, bum me
Yep.
out.
Go
Yes.
out and hold on.
LT says no problem. Just gives us time to process the gems. Period. Because
Exactly.
they are definitely being dropped.
All right.
This is why we love having these types of conversations because a difference in perspective could be the thing that like unlocks the next
Everything.
version of your perception. So we love that.
All right, here
Kashi
we go.
says whenever it gets real good, they try to shut it down. Period.
Exactly. All right, let's bring them back and let's hope it all goes well.
Yes.
All right, can you hear? All right, we still hear it.
All right, now the distortions come back.
Yep.
That's so weird.
Are you using a microphone?
I'm using my phone.
Ooh, that sounds much better. Whatever you just did.
Let me try this. Really? Because it's like I can still hear static.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can still hear static as well.
Let me get on my
Headset.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Hello?
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. This, I don't know how long it's gonna last. These things are iffy. But at any rate, to answer your question from before, um, as I've gotten farther away from Infinitum, I've grown to appreciate what I get. In terms of a visual Afrofuturist graphic novel with an original story, it really
Yeah.
is the first of its kind from a mainstream publisher, large
Yeah.
mainstream publisher. And stuff like
Yeah.
that been done for years in the indie space. But for in the mainstream sense, with large publishers, this was HarperCollins, Amistad, it's the first time anything like that has ever been done.
That
Of
part.
course, but the first, what I consider the first mainstream graphic novel, black Afrofuturist graphic novel, would be Kindred, the Kindred adaptation by John and Damien,
Yeah.
right? The first one with the original storyline would be what I did, and it's hard to do. That's why it's hard because you're
Yeah.
creating the storyline, and you can't hide behind the words. You have to hide behind the words and the pictures, which when you're bringing, it's one thing to say something that is Afrofuturist. It is a completely different animal to show something that is Afrofuturist. That's an inherently more dangerous act, although both of them have their danger. And
Yeah.
comics is about the dance between the word and the picture. In this
Mhm.
particular case with Infinitum, I have come to be very, very proud of that book because I
As you
think,
should.
thank you, thank you. Although the book is imperfect, the thing that's most important is that it has, I feel like I contributed something that lives up to the lexicon.
Yes,
It's as good
absolutely.
as the best stuff that's ever been done. And that's kind of crazy to say. Who am I to say that about my own work? But I'm saying it anyway because I think I've done something that I felt like touched on different points. It spoke
Yes.
to a broader understanding of gender. It spoke to a broader definition of who a man is, and what a man does, and and
Mm-hmm.
and I think it embraced the fact that not all. It showed that Afrofuturism is not always utopian. It can be dystopian, right?
Exactly.
And that's
Yes.
what I did. It's a different book than Maddie's Rocket. Maddie's Rocket was specifically designed for you guys. I wanted to be able to do a book that showed a black woman, but that was designed for you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For you guys.
Yeah.
For you to be able to say, okay, this is a character who reminds me of myself, reminds me of my mama, reminds me of my grandmama, but she's just doing it in
Mhm.
rocket, right?
Yeah.
Infinitum was something where I wanted to do an epic, large, epic storyline, every bit as big as Lawrence of Arabia, cosmic with intergalactic warfare, but then it has this undercurrent where it's going through all these history based things in the new world, what kind of quotation thing is here, and then moving, dealing with race throughout all of it. But then as it goes far, it moves beyond race. It moves beyond being human. And that was my intention with Infinitum. I don't think I would change anything. What I would like to do is to get around to finishing the sequel to Infinitum.
Ooh, there's a sequel. Okay.
I've been working on it the last few years, but yeah, that's something that I think is important. And now with the advent and the arrival of technology like AI, it allows me to be able to continue to draw, to use my already existing illustration skill set, but to do that work without killing myself. Infinitum almost killed me. It almost ended
Yeah.
my
I remember you
so
talking about how you workshopped it a lot. Like you really
uh,
worked it.
yeah, and that. But see, that was only. You remember what I was saying about being around Afrofuturists that allowed you to kind of like take things to the next level without
Mhm.
Kanitra, Brooks, Julian Chambliss, Ronaldo Anderson, uh, uh, allowing me to show my stuff in those venues to get feedback. I wouldn't have been able to do Infinitum. In fact, I had come up with the idea years prior in the early 2000s, early 2000s. But
Mhm.
when the New York Times came along, they asked me to do that story, and I did it as a 28-page story. But because they all of a sudden wanted me to slap the artwork together, it just can't be like that. Not if it don't have my
Yeah.
name on it. I'm sorry, it can't.
Period.
Uh,
Yep.
and so I ended up taking that 28-page story, and then ultimately at the end of the day, it was 285 or something like that number of pages. And I'm
Yeah.
very proud of it.
As you should. It's absolutely like one thing I always took from it is the artwork.
Yes.
Fantastic. Like
Thank
you put everything into every single page.
Yeah.
Like every single page is just fantastic. Wait,
Yeah.
there
you.
was a
Yeah, yeah, that's just a very sad part of the story there. But it's like I was talking. I've said this before in other interviews, but I was talking with my friend Stacy Robinson, and he was basically saying, "Why did I create this book that was so detailed? Why did I do that? Why was
Mhm.
that so important?" And I said, "Because Black people deserve to have epic stories.
And
You
do.
know, I
Yeah.
want with entire fleets of star spanning ships with captains that look like you too. That's what I want. And why shouldn't you see yourselves that way? Why should you not? Is there some written law that says that y'all can't have that? That that can't be a man who, spoiler alert, you know, I'm tired of, I'm tired of Negroes dying. Yeah,
Mm,
I'm tired
Say
of them
that.
dying. Think of it. I grew up with that, and I was like, I don't care what happens, he
we
gonna
gonna
live.
live. I like that.
Yeah, and that was the ultimately the impetus behind Infinitum, and I'm very proud to do that. What is this here? That's interesting. He mentioned that AI would allow him to do the work without killing himself. Okay, I don't know if we've heard enough about how Afrofuturism views AI. Well,
Yeah.
I can answer that if you want me to.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So here's the thing: as a practicing visual Afrofuturist, all right,
Mhm.
part of what I do is it is my responsibility to not only create images that show the future, but it is also to personally undergo or engage in activities that define what the future is.
Hmm.
And so what that means is I started like artists. I started on paper and I would draw and paint in watercolor. My big medium was markers, color pencils, and ultimately gouache. I
Hmm.
didn't mess around a lot with oil because the stuff takes too long to dry, right? But I did that for years. I was a traditional comic book artist, but the content of what I was doing was Afrofuturism. And of course, you can see you always use this joke that made me like a rich man. Yeah, I'm like rolling in dough. Obviously that didn't happen, but that's what I did. But I always pushed the subject matter of what I was doing. And then ultimately, I was challenged to change how I did it. So I moved to digital illustration, Photoshop, Clip Studio Paint didn't exist at that time. We were using Corel. Well, what would eventually it was Meta Creations, what would eventually become Corel Painter.
Hmm.
I began to deploy 3D modeling and animation in my work. So 3ds Max I've used for God, almost 30 years now. So I use 3ds Max. I use a lot of those programs, and ultimately, when I began to work in the video game industry, it changed the way I work. So I was constantly having to innovate to to to, to develop and enhance my skill set, which indirectly, well, not indirectly, directly affected how I did the work, the quality of the work, but also allowed me to expand my skill and scale of what was possible within the work. So the first one of the first images in Infinitum is the main character is riding these huge, large Rottweilers, right?
Mm,
But he's fighting against actually realistic sourced African warriors, right? So I had to do research on how they dress, what their armor was like. But these fictional African warriors are fighting against historically accurate warriors from ancient Africa, right?
yeah.
So, but to pull that shot off would have been extraordinarily difficult to do in analog paint, but I could do it in digital. Now I paid a price for it, but now that is dramatically easier to do as I began to integrate game engine technology. So all of a sudden you have real time rendering, right? And of course now
Yeah.
at this time there's no such thing as a regular renderer. You render through Unreal Engine or Unity, and this is for your environments. But I use that stuff for my illustration. And now AI has arrived. And what AI has done for me, there's some people, of course, who use AI and they have legitimate issues with AI because you are basically text prompting everything. And that's boring to
Mhm.
me. That's not the way it should work. What it should be is you are using your drawings as your image prompt. Almost wish I could show you my screen because I could show you what I was talking about. I wish I could
Yeah,
do that.
because
I would,
like
That-
when we hear about AI and we're told not to use it, not just for like the environmental impact, but like because it takes from other artists. So like
yeah,
the way
for
you're using it,
yeah. But if you're using it just based off of your art, then it's
like how
not
does
that.
that work?
Yeah, explain more then.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't just scrape the 200 artists that are complaining, or even the 200,000 artists. They scraped everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you go on have I been trained or .com or whatever that site is, my stuff comes up as well. So
Mm.
that type of thing, sure, it bothers me, but um, iPhones, iPads are in part manufactured through child labor. We know this. We know this to be true, right? But no one's going to give up their iPhone. Know what I mean? So part of what we have to do is to be able to figure out a way to reconcile technology, to reconcile it in such a way where we could learn how to use it to make the world better while keeping your eye on what the world actually is. That's a very, very difficult thing to do. And so the
What?
way I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's yes, Just J Arts hit the nail on the head. AI with ethics. That's 100% my standpoint. Now, I love and respect everything that you're saying, but I am on the other side of that. So this is a great opportunity to have sort of that discourse about, in theory, what you're saying is that finding an ethical way to utilize it where we can move forward and learn and grow with AI. I think ultimately that's the outcome that everybody wants because we know we're not going to get rid of it. That was a very bold statement and to compare it to so people understand. So we
Mm-hmm.
get it. Yes. Um it's the same type of concept. Nobody's going to give it up. No one's really asking to give it up entirely. I think the issue comes from the moral implications around what it's doing to the environment
Mm-hmm.
with usage, and we implemented this access to, we want to call it a tool, but it's not a tool because like a tool you can use and it doesn't have to actively steal from other people in order to function properly. So it's like a multi-layer issue. So while I hear where you're coming from, there's like several missing steps before we can get to this kumbaya version of being able to actively
Yeah.
utilize AI as a stepping stool to further promote Afrofuturism without the moral and ethical implications that are currently aligned with AI.
Can,
Yeah.
But
can I
yeah,
share
go
my
ahead. Yeah,
possible? I
please.
don't know how to do it on my cell phone here. I don't know how to do it.
Oh, you're
So,
wanting to share your
Um.
screen. Gotcha.
so hold on.
Yeah.
Let me just put this here. Let me see if I can do it here. Is there a way to share my screen? I do
So
not.
I think part of it is that we understand what you're saying about how you currently actively use it now. Part of the disconnect here, I think, is that you're like looking at it as like it's a eventuality, or it's a
No,
it seems like you've
No.
kind of come to terms with with the theft of your own art to
no,
a certain
no,
extent. Okay,
no,
No.
no. I
Okay.
come to terms with the depth of my own art.
gotcha.
I,
Okay.
oh my God, I won't even go into the stories of what analog artists have done
Mm,
over the course of my career, where lawsuits from people who you would not believe that
mm,
I've had to deal with just in the process of providing services, art services,
mhm,
in the
Mm-hmm.
so-called analog art market. So ethics and are always a fascinating thing. It's a fascinating thing to contend with. However, what I will do here, if I can just see if I can pull this up. Let me see if I can go here, and this will probably be the best way to show it if I can. Let's go. Hang on one second here. I think this is the way to do it. Let's see. And what I'll do is I'll explain what I'm doing it while I'm showcasing it. Right.
Okay.
So I when I utilize AI, there are three rules that you cannot never violate. The first rule is you should always start with your drawing as the initial prompt. Always. You can't use a written prompt. You have to start with your drawing as the image prompt. Once that is done and you employ that image prompt, you can enhance it with your own written prompt. But it has to start with a base of your drawing. That's the first thing. Two, you can never use another artist's name in the prompt, ever. Right? You can use words like cinematic, use photo real, but you cannot use another. You can't say, "Hey, make this work here done in the style of Craig Mullins," right? And I love Craig Mullins' work, but I don't want my work to look like Craig Mullins' work. I want my work to look like my work,
Mhm.
right? That's.
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
okay, okay. No,
No, no, go ahead.
so you're saying you're using it kind of like if I were to put it in like a literary sense, you're using AI similarly to like a Grammarly where you put in your own work, but
Yes,
it's you using the editing function of it.
I'm just using it as a tool within an already existing skill set. So, for
Okay.
example, can you guys see that,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
right? You see that drawing. I don't know if it's clear. I think you
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What do you see? You see a man on a carriage
Yeah.
with
There's
red?
a house in the background.
Right, right.
Okay.
Exactly. So that drawing, it's Clip Studio Paint. Or you could do the same thing on paper. There's nothing unique about it at all. I
Mm-hmm.
then output that image and I open it up. In my case, I use a program called VizCom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once it goes into VizCom, I can then take a written prompt to say, okay, I want it to be this time of, describe what's happening. It's a carriage going down a tree line, a dirt road heading towards a antebellum plantation, midday cinematic photo reel, right? If you notice, I never used anyone else's name in that. And so this image becomes that image. Do you see?
Okay, so it does the color and all of that.
It it what it does, I had to color infinitum basically 280 paintings. That sounds cool and very macho on paper, but when your arms are about to fall off, right, and your nerves are screwed up, right? I almost died 3 months ago. Well, 4 months ago in April, and it was because I was working from 10 in the morning to 10 at night, 6 to 7 days a week. That you, it's not sustainable, particularly for our damn near 60-year-old, right? So I have to use technology and have used technology over the years. As I said, 3D modeling, then game engine technology, which is like a real amazing thing, and then now I'm utilizing AI. But once I get to the step where that AI image comes to me, I then take that output and I do what's called a paint over, like we did in the video game industry, right? You would build an environment in the 3D. You would
Mm-hmm.
then manipulate your camera to give you a certain angle, and you would output that still of that 3D object. That's all Craig Mullins does, right? He gets a 3D model, a 3D environment, or 3D assets. They take a render of it, you output that render, and then you do what's called a paint over, right? And I've been doing that technique now for decades, right? Now, from there, you then, when you're doing your paint over, what you're doing, you're using AI as a step. You're using the technology to quickly reduce the 8 hours or the 2 days or the 3 days that you would have to spend rendering all that stuff up out, being done in 30 seconds. Does that make sense?
I do. So, okay, I do want to ask you because
Okay, fine.
I understand what you're saying, but then I'm thinking about how other
Mhm.
people will not have the limitations that you put on AI, right? Like
Yeah,
it
they
seems
won't
like
use that same
you're
ethical
actively
response.
trying to you're
Oh, yeah.
trying to maintain your ethics with AI, right? But
Yeah.
unfortunately, not a lot of people are doing that. And as a result, we're having all of these situations
Right.
where we're now, as a society, having to recognize that it is very harmful, to other people. So I guess,
I can
what do
tell
you,
you, go ahead.
what do you think? Because right now, as it stands, like I have a lot of issues with AI, especially like from an environmental standpoint, because that's where my Afrofuturism lies. It's like we I can't possibly think about the stars right now because not enough of us can afford it. So like
Right.
until we can reach the stars, we have to be able to take care of the planet that we currently have. And so
Right.
understanding the environmental impact, the negative environmental impact that AI has, like, and recognizing, like, while you have a certain ethic around it, like, what do you say when you see other people in the comic industry or people surrounding the comics or art industry who don't um hold themselves to that same standard and create
Right.
more of a problem?
Okay. So I'll try to answer this as best I can. First of all, no one actively goes out of their way to show or to talk about the fact that they may utilize AI. Understandably so. There's a lot of
Mhm.
legitimate rancor, controversy over use of the technology. That's the first thing. Secondly, yes, you are correct. We all know the technology is not going anywhere, right? This is not the equivalent of Photoshop, arriving on the scene. It has
Mhm.
similar elements to it, but this is not that. This is not. In fact, in certain ways, it's. I don't. You guys are so young, but I have an older sibling who's a musician, right? And I remember when this guy was playing regular instruments. But then I remember when digital audio came on the scene, he began to adopt it. So you have people who have trained their entire lives as traditional musicians who suddenly were in an environment where you could use MPC 2000s or 3000s or MIDI to create music, right? And that's what's happening now. You can go in GarageBand, you can work up music or beats, whatever they call it, and that's the nature of technology. Uh, these things don't change. So I say you take the idea of digital audio, which is in a creative industry, but you make it more in line with the arrival of the automobile, right? Prior to the automobile arriving on the scene, you had mankind basically utilize the horse for locomotion for thousands and thousands of years. People rode horses, right? And all of a sudden, in the late 1800s, within a span of 30 to 70 years, you had this technology. And by the way, there were people who made their living scooping poop from behind horses. That's how they fed their families. They built their fortunes just scooping poop behind horses. And all of a sudden, within a relatively short period of time, that was gone because technology, by its nature, is disruptive, right? And there are aspects of technology that we have to be honest with ourselves. Like, for example, the fact that AI utilizes pretty high energy cost. It does that. But I know that that's eventually going to be overcome because it's always overcome when people want to commoditize technology.
To
Right.
okay. I get where you're coming from, but it's also like even within the example that you gave, like the development of technology that allows people to go from traveling on horses to traveling in a car. Just because when that advancement came about, it was the best thing and everyone was using it. And then, however many years later, it was like, oh, now we're dealing with all of these emissions and, whatever fuel issues and limitations there are and how that's attacking the planet. Those things didn't go away and we didn't find a replacement solution. We're
Right.
literally still actively working towards that. So I think
And just
your example kind of leans more towards what we're saying, like just
Right.
because it was an eventuality and it never went away, it's still a prime example of why the guardrails and the laws and the limitations need to be put in place so that people who aren't going to utilize constraint by any stretch of the imagination, are in a position to take this further where it's even more of a problem for us in the near future than it currently is right now. Because if we're being real about it, like having automobiles that run off of gasoline and like I said with the emissions and everything else have have ruined a lot of aspects of our climate and our planet and as we currently stand right now. So it's like it's the
and
same
just
example. It's a slow creep, and if it's not rectified in the early stages, then it will just continue to snowball.
Right.
just to add like the racial aspect of that, like yeah, things we eventually quote unquote find ways around it or ways to ignore it, kind of like what happened with COVID. Like it still exists, but we've quote unquote found ways to live with it. Like currently the environmental impact of AI is like devastating cities, specifically black and brown cities. Like I know recently, I think it was like Arizona is the city in Arizona, Tulsa, I believe, that they were able to stop the data center from being built there. But it's like, okay, but Memphis, Tennessee, I believe they have one that's operating that is actively destroying the air in a majorly black and brown town. Like unfortunately, while we wait for things to get better, it's going to be marginalized communities that are going to have to deal with that.
The worst of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So everything you guys are saying are characteristics of an encroaching technology. You're talking about the racial component with digital divides, bias. All those things are present and active. So,
Mhm.
taking into consideration that all three of the points of view that have been said here, I then have to decide as a visual Afrofuturist, as an Afrofuturist storyteller, what am I going to do about it? Right? It's like,
Yeah.
what am I going to do about it? I know I'm not going to say, well, I'm just not going to use that. That's not going to happen because I haven't done it before, right? I haven't done that before. I still use my iPad extensively to be able to draw when I'm on the road or when I'm doing note taking, knowing that there's an ethical issue inherent in its existence, right? We still have a car, right? My wife and I have a car, knowing that the emissions issues have their issues. They contribute to the further downgrade of the environment. In this particular case, as an Afrofuturist, I feel that part of my job is to show traditional artists as best I can how they can coexist in a world that is changing, but that has within its confines generative AI. Does that make sense what I'm saying? It's like somebody has to do that work, right? It's not enough to have a big name artist who does work and they like no to AI, don't use it, right? And that's fine if they want to do it, but I'm saying that's not enough. Someone has to be able and be willing to go out and say, okay, AI is here, AI has issues, but if you're going to use it, this is how you will try to use it, to try to keep it as clean and as ethical as possible, knowing full well, right, there are issues that are not resolved. Like, for example, in my opinion, I don't think that the regulations will be worked out that soon because, we have an administration that they're not trying to do that, right? They're not willing to hold the larger corporations uh, accountable for the fact that they took the work. However, I'm also aware of a little insider information that there will be some regulations coming. Why? Money, money, right? With that, I still have to accept that as an Afrofuturist, it's like people ask, well, why do you do this work? Why is it important that you tell stories about people of color in these speculative situations? Why would you do that? I do it because I don't want any kid to go through what I went through coming up. I want men, women, boys, and girls to get used to seeing themselves in those environments. Something as simple as I'm tired of Negroes dying. It's my job to show them live. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It
That's
does.
part
Just
of what I have to do. It's 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 what John was saying. We were talking about. It's the burden of the Afrofuturist. Your burden is to try to show the way, knowing full well that you may not completely succeed. Right? It's about being able to demonstrate agency, and that's what I'm trying to do. Not just with the stories I'm telling, but in the way I produce those stories.
I think it's important that
Thank you.
in
The work has to be done. Simple as that.
yeah, but I think it's important that in these conversations that there's always room for growth
Yeah.
and a shift in perspective and ideals, because that's what will eventually get us to the place where whatever solutions or resolutions we come to are formulated. So we really appreciate you
yeah.
sharing your perspective so we have the opportunity to have this type of conversation because they are important. We want to make sure that we're being respectful of your time. But one thing we
Oh
did want to
yeah.
ask you before we let you get on out of here, I know we're keeping you a little over as it is now, is what
All
are you
good.
currently working on and looking forward to in terms of Afrofuturist stories you're
Yeah.
creating or looking forward to reading?
Right. So, always reading something that is Afrofuturist. Lately, it's been a bunch of academic papers.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
there are a lot of folks who are releasing work. And that's the weird thing. My career as an Afrofuturist rose, ascended over the last few years due to my relationships largely with academics,
Mm.
with black academics,
Yeah.
Afrofuturist academics. Yeah, I can't sit there and say, "Oh man, people in the comic book industry just embrace me, man, with open arms." Nah, that ain't. What
Oh,
happened was there were a bunch of Afrofuturists because now what you have is legitimate academic basis in the world of academia. Then people have degrees,
Yeah.
PhDs. So to me, I'm like a walking fossil. I've been doing this for since I was 13 years old, right? 13, 14 years old, and I turned, 59 in less than 3 weeks, right? So for
well,
them, I'm like,
happy birthday.
okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's like I'm a dinosaur. I'm a velociraptor still walking around. They're like, oh my God, we got to study this guy, right? So that's what it is on one end. On the other end, um, uh, I through my practice, I'm paying attention to people like you guys. And I'm paying attention to you because what you are doing is communicating Afrofuturist modality, because that's what you are, right? That's what you guys are. You guys are engaging, embracing modern technology with all of its issues, and you are disseminating information out into the world. That's what you're doing. You do understand that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
are the, you know that, right? It's like nobody's watching NBC, ABC, and CBS anymore, right?
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
watching Entertainment Tonight. They're
Right.
watching you guys. You guys are contemporary black media. Now there have been other black bloggers before, but you guys are doing this in this really intense environment, right? And there are other folks out there who are players as well, but you guys are holding your own. And you're doing it in such a way where your presentation is polished. If I have to see that the different variations of pink again, my eyes gonna pop out, right? You guys are doing that, and any person who wants to get their work out, God, it's like the whole conversation we've had today. You guys are showing the way. So if I'm smart, I will begin to deploy what you guys are doing in my own way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They say you
Yeah.
have to go to where people are. Where the people? They're
Very
on
true.
the social media, right? So
Yeah.
I started a month ago my channel called the Dieselfunk Dispatch, and I
Okay.
stream 5 days a week. The only reason I'm not streaming tonight, I maybe gonna stream, maybe not gonna stream, because y'all went in and totally disrupted my schedule. Thank you so much. Right? Uh, but the reality is that you guys are an inspiration. You're going out there, you're pushing, and you are doing the Afrofuturist work. That's what you're doing. You know that, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
hard to
I'm
remember
glad
sometimes, but
y'all
yeah.
that's what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? And look, we know what you guys are doing and what I'm doing. This is not real. This set here was manufactured over time. If I move the camera anywhere right or anywhere left, it's nuclear apocalypse. It's not clean. It's stuff all over the floor. But we are projecting a reality to the viewer, to the listener, right? And that's what you guys do. That afro, I'm like, either that is an amazing wig or you have fantastic haircut products. You know what I'm saying? It's one or the other. But it's the image, because you're trying to project an image of femininity and blackness, right? And agency all at the same time. Then you smart enough to put those white glasses on there, because you know that's the accent. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about. That's
Yeah.
why when you guys asked me to do this tonight, I do podcasts, but I definitely want to do this thing with you guys, because you guys are pushing. And
Yeah.
as you're pushing, you're forcing me to push. I knew you guys. I'm gonna bring up this whole thing with AI, and I knew you guys weren't gonna back down. You gonna come at me. That's- but that's what. How else do we get it out if we don't have these conversations?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very
So
true.
it's not just that I have to do my part. I need journalists who are going to do their part,
Yeah.
because it's
Okay.
all
Yeah.
about, right? It's all about nuance.
Yeah.
So I know that was a long-winded answer, but yes, I hope I answered your question. But that's basically what's up.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
My last question is, I remember you talking about adapting Samuel Delaney's work. Is that
Yes.
still something you want to do? Is that still something in the pipeline?
See, y'all, then who y'all been talking to, man?
Keisha does her
I do my
research. Don't
research.
play.
Yeah, no, but you could have left that one out. So Chip
Oh,
Delaney,
dang. Is it
Delaney
not her? Is it not her duty as an Afrofuturist
Yeah,
journalist?
she did her duty. Okay, I'll give her that. She just had to throw it out right at the end.
Okay,
She
no,
could
no,
have.
no.
She
You don't
could.
have to answer it then. We could
No,
leave that
I'm
for
gonna
another
answer
day.
it because it needs to be heard.
Period.
I have wanted to adapt Samuel R. Delaney's Nova since I read the book when I was in Mississippi. I was out of Mississippi, or it may have been just as my family was in Atlanta. I was 18 years old, like definitely under 20. And that story, seeing this black character featured in this very much a, a, a stereotypical, maybe not stereotypical, but a prototypical space opera, right? Look,
Mhm.
Von Ray. And that character had such a deep effect on me because he was the same age as I was when I was reading it, right?
Hmm.
And so, starting back in the 80s, I did visual development around that. I have images. There's a documentary that me and my twin brother are producing on my career called Black Metropolis, right? So, I've had to take all of those old 40-year-old images and put them in there in a section and marry those with the images I did over the last 3 years on Nova. And I did so much work on it, but ultimately, unfortunately, when you don't own your content and
Hmm.
you need permission from folks, whether
Wow.
they can write or not, they're either going to say yeah or nay. And when they say yay, it is the most amazing thing in the world. But when they say nay, what can you do?
Uh, yeah,
Sorry to
And
hear
I
that.
did
yeah.
so much work on that stuff. It would make your eyeballs melt out of your sockets. How much work I did. Yeah, at least 25 pages of actual breakdowns with story, models of environments. I did all that stuff. Yeah.
Can I see it? Like,
No.
Man, what John, you didn't tell me they were going to manipulate like that, man.
no, we don't have to. But yeah.
I did. Hold on. I don't know if I have anything on here. Let me see if I
Oh,
have.
no, 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 no. We don't have to do it here at all. Like, we don't have to
Oh
do it
yeah,
here.
I'll send you guys something. But that's what I'm saying. It's like I did a Spider-Man story at the beginning of last year. Marvel Abrams put out this book here. Where is it? Here it is. Well, I don't want to take it down because my set will collapse if I do that. But Marvel, right? And I was given the right to do Spider-Man 2099, right?
Mm.
I
Mm.
remember they were assigning characters. I wanted to do Black Panther because I've never done a Black Panther story.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do Black Panther, but at the time, Jerry Kraft had Black Panther, right? And eventually, even though he had misgivings about it, he went forward with doing Black Panther because he should. My default character that I was allowed to do was Spider Man 2099. But when I got the story, this was before Into the Spider Verse came out.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, I'm assigned the character, and I started to work on it, and people are like, "Oh, that comes out. Hey, Tim. Hey, man. Can I? No, dude. I've been assigned Spider-Man 2099." But I never said to the editor, and I was paid for it, not a lot, because it's a group project. I would have done it for free.
Mm.
That was not about the money. That was
Mm.
about knowing that I could do Spider-Man. Like in my entire career over the last 40 years, I've done comics. Like I have an unpublished Dr. Dre graphic novel that I did for Marvel Music, right? But it was never published, right? But you
You can go
know,
ahead and send that over to Tim.
I'm not gonna send that one, right? But the thing is that stuff falls within the context of all of the music illustration I've done over the decades because that was part of how I made my living as an editorial cartoonist. So
Yeah.
I was very much there when there were editorial illustrations that had to be done in the field of hip hop for, say, the Village Voice. So I was able to do those illustrations as part of how I pay my rent, right?
Mm. Yeah.
So I've always been there. So even when I did like the graphic history of hip hop with Walter Grayson, that just came out last year. I'm working on volume 2 now. That's still this more like a full circle moment, right? But in all that time, I never did a superhero. I never did a Marvel superhero, right? And don't let any cartoonist, regardless how quirky they may be, tell you that in their heart of hearts, if they had the opportunity to draw Spider-Man or Superman or Thor or Captain America, right, or the Scarlet Witch, that they really wouldn't jump at that chance. Like, I don't have to do a series. I just wanted to do that one story so I can say I did it. And I'm so proud of what I did. It's fun. You know, it's for younger audiences, but it was Spider-Man 2099. And that's all that matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I can respect that. Being able to do one of the premiere.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, be able to say
You
that.
did it.
Yeah,
You
Checking
did
that
it.
bucket list box. Yeah, for
right.
sure.
Yeah. And that's everything. I checked the box. I did it. I don't have to worry about uh, uh, I don't have to worry about whether or not I can say, well, you know, man, I was in the field, but I was never allowed to say my piece. No, they let me say my piece, and I would have done it for free. I would have done that for free for sure. Yep.
Respect that.
All right.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so much for
you.
coming. We appreciate you taking the time. And now
Absolutely.
we're grateful for the rec because we're definitely about to go watch that 40 Acres movie for sure.
Mhm. Facts.
Let me say
Oh,
this. When you guys see it, it's going to blow your brains out. That's how brilliant that movie is. That is how well done, well crafted. It's just really, truly amazing.
Period.
no. It
Well,
was
we
great having you on.
we
Thank
want to
you.
give you the space to do your shameless plug. We would love for you to just share where people can find you and purchase your works and support any projects you're working on before we let you go.
Wow, interesting question because I have to give a different answer to it now. You can find me on Dieselfunk, at Dieselfunk on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Blue Sky, LinkedIn, Substack, which I'm just starting that up. What else? Instagram, obviously. And I have a 5 days a week streaming show that I do called the Diesel Funk Dispatch, in which I draw. Not I don't do like just commissions. That's not my focus. My focus is to actually do the projects that
Mm,
I'm working. That's what I'm doing. So right now, I'm actively working on my adaptation of W.B. Du Bois' The Comet. I'm working on
Yeah.
yes. I'm ready. Don't worry. I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna get it done. And then I'm working on my adaptation of Stephen Barry's biography of Prince Rivers, a 1800s civil rights figure. Graphic History Hip Hop Volume 2. I am already have the breakdowns done for Matty's Rocket 2 and 3. And in September, I'm going to start on an animated film. So it's a lot going on, and you
Oh,
guys will be able
dang.
to work on it in real time. The only thing I would ask for anyone who is willing to follow me is please go to YouTube, do it because apparently you got to have 4,000 subscribers to get monetized. So right now, that's the only thing I'm missing. I already got the view time, the views. I need the people to come in and also, although I appreciate what you guys say about me being here. Please feel free to ask me back whenever you like. I would love to.
listen, we
Oh,
definitely will. And don't forget about us or our mailbox when you start finishing some of them projects because we'd love to have you back to talk about those as
Yeah,
well.
facts.
yeah, yes, yes. You shouldn't have said that because now I'm gonna hold you to that. No, I'm like, oh, really, I can come back to you. All right, great. So yeah,
Listen, the
that's
PO box is in the link tree. You got the
Ooh.
information.
gotcha, gotcha. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
taking the time. You have a lovely evening, and like I said, we'll definitely be in touch for future episodes, future projects, and we wish you all the best in everything you're working on.
Yes,
Thank you
yes.
so much.
Later.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye. Woo, woo.
Don't you just love it when we get to have like icons on the show? Such a vibe.
Thanks. Yeah.
Love the opportunity to have some discourse about some touchy, difficult topics, but a couple of people said it in the chat, like, how do we move forward without having those conversations? And he's such a delight to chat with. He always brings the
Yeah.
energy. I've watched a couple of his other interviews, so it's an honor to have him on the show. Very cool, all of the vibes. Yay, people are loving it.
Oh, I haven't even seen the
Yeah,
chat.
LT said, man, y'all be grabbing legends. And do.
And do.
Just
But
Jay
nah,
Art says great discussion.
it was a really interesting conversation and something, you kind of got to sit with some things, like
Yeah,
especially like the use of technology and the fact that we are perpetuating a lot of stuff. But
yeah,
I mean,
100.
I still feel I'm just looking at the chat and what LT just said. All the shades of pink though. Absolutely.
And you
We're
gonna
gonna
keep getting it either because you gonna get the
keep
pink
you get
and you gonna get the riot. Like
it's
while
all in
while
here.
it's an honor to have a legend on the show, we gonna bring the pink and we gonna bring the riot. He is very much right. Like we take our position and our
Very seriously.
viewpoints and the safety of our viewership very very seriously. So like
Yeah.
while it was great to kiki with him, it was also important to be like, actually, this is our stance on it.
Yeah.
And we can
But
respectfully have the conversation and agree to disagree and agree that there's room for growth.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That was the thing about it. LT said, well, y'all definitely brought your viewpoints to the center. Yeah, like we want to make sure, like Bree said, that while people are able to say how they feel, like we also make it clear where we stand with things and give space to understand, if possible, understand one another, but also recognizing why we feel the way we feel about things. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
So if you thought you loved us before, we definitely were like, we'll definitely hold our beliefs and opinions and hold our own in a conversation. So that's one thing that you can and count on in any of our episodes. We kiki and we're silly and we have a good time, but we also know what we're in this space to do. And regardless of celebrity or stature or history or body of work,
yeah.
we're
If I mean, if anything, what it did make me acknowledge was the fact that we are using technology that does have, negative history behind it, especially like depending on the brand and whatnot, or like all of that. So it, like LT is saying, it really does make me rethink how I'm using technology or like what you buy, in future purchases, if you buy anything in future purchases. Like I know I have a lot of things turned off on my phone. Like
yeah,
I don't use a lot, like I don't use my phone to its full potential, and I do that intentionally. I don't use any piece of technology to its absolute full potential because of how I
yeah,
feel about not necessarily the technology itself, but rather how it's used to no, the technology itself, how it's created in the first place, and then how it's used to then harm others. So like I I don't know. I still feel a ways about it,
Hmm.
but if anything, this conversation is making me go, damn, well, how can I make sure that my ideologies, my personal politics is
Match your
more of my
profile.
lifestyle
Yeah.
rather than just something I'm saying, because I never want to be something that is performative. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, I never want to say like this is how I feel, but then I turn around and do other things. So like I want to make sure that as much as I can, in this capitalistic, harmful society, I want to stay as I want it to become more of a lifestyle rather than, just something I'm saying.
LT says, right, is the alignment there in the way I'm using technology? It
Right.
definitely does beg that question, and it does require you to like look at your own life through the lens of the criteria that you're putting other people to a certain standard in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll definitely say it was a very revelatory conversation for sure. And it also was interesting to like look at this conversation. Like we had that whole piece around the audacity of hope, and then flip the script
Mm-hmm.
and immediately are having this conversation about like the impending eventuality of technology. And it was just like, wow, it's like it's kind of jarring to see like the stark contrast in those conversations that were within the same conversation. And it makes you go, okay, where could I further improve, you know what I'm saying, or where can
Mm-hmm.
I adjust to be less defeatist in this,
Yeah.
situation, I
Yeah.
guess.
Because you want to get to a point where, because at the end of the day, the definition of technology, if I'm remembering correctly, is to be able to help us, right? And technology is a tool that should be able to help us. But hold on, Tashi is saying I think certain things are set up in a way where we need them versus being an option.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
Even to what Keisha was
I,
saying about the way that she uses her phone, I
yeah.
100% agree with it. Part of it was me just being embracing my inner old lady and being like, why is all this on my phone? And then being like, wait, why is all of this on my phone that I did
Yeah.
not ask for? Literally turning off access to so many things where it's put there as like a default, like even with like location settings and all that type of stuff. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh wow, they really just weren't going to ask. And if you don't think about the snowball effect of how many people won't even think twice about it and are just like, oh look, there's a cool new tool on my phone, versus, you know what I'm saying? So it's like having to choose that fine line. He's right, we're not going to give up our phones, but I also skipped over getting an upgrade on my phone the last couple times there was one, because
And didn't get the newest thing out there. And
exactly,
like,
like same
there,
same my Kindle and all those, all that type of stuff, where it's like it would be great
but
to
I
be able
guess like,
to.
and
Oh,
this is not and I'm not defending the use of AI. That's not my thing. I'm more so interested in understanding how to get to that point where it's, you know, how does one get to that point? And I can see from that logic how he would have been like, well, if I use it ethically, which is what we're saying with this phone, if I
right.
use it ethically, it does make it better. But then, you know, my concern is always not necessarily with the individual using things ethically. It's more, you know, how other people, how society as a collective uses things.
Yeah.
And that's where my fear is. Or like, no offense, Bama, like you're using AI in ways I'm seeing in the chats that has me a little worried because I'm like, how much output are you putting out? All those things. Like, how is it harming communities right now? Um, yeah. Hold on, LT. Yep, that's what I think. The point about child labor may be in reference to the minerals that are mined in conflict areas like DRC, where children are in the mines to obtain the minerals that are used for phones. Absolutely, specifically cobalt, I believe, is what is that mineral that is like that you're talking
Use
about.
in
Yeah,
all batteries, which is why the whole thing about if you don't absolutely have to upgrade your phone,
yeah,
the
don't.
less consumption in that industry is
Right.
beneficial, like that sort of thing.
And right, and or like I every like my computer right now, I bought it refurbished. Like, I didn't it already existed. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't buying anything new. Like I try really hard to buy things that are refurbished, buy things that are secondhand. But yeah, I think that conversation really just has me wanting to like firm up the
100%.
lifestyle that I have.
Yeah, because these little things don't change everything, but they
Yeah,
also take like lessen the harm. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So that's where I think the main difference in our perspectives was coming from of like, yeah, other people are doing this, but the least I can do is the most I can do because otherwise we're just all doing the worst we can do. Does that make
yeah.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sexy Red. Hey, say exactly how AI harmed me this last semester with my professor using AI to grade my paper. That conversation pissed me off. All right, so uh,
Thank you, Tashi.
we were talking about in school, right? Sexy Red is in school, and we were talking about this conversation around the story, and they put a lot of effort into this paper, and the feedback they got was you could just tell it just came straight out of ChatGPT. And I was infuriated because as an educator, I'm like, how if all you did was put this person's paper through ChatGPT, like, who are you as an educator?
That part.
Like,
And
ChatGPT is accessible to everyone.
how could you penalize that student if they use Chat GPT to write their paper if all you're going to do is grade it via Chat GPT? That's crazy work.
Yeah, right. So like I have a issue with the technology mostly because there is no regulation around it, and it is incredibly harmful to the environment, and we have to take care of this because once again, I don't know anybody in the chat have the money to fly off to another planet. I would love to. I
Listen,
would love to personally.
I
But
think we're going to have to get our evil villain enterprises off the ground so that way we can afford to post up on another planet because
you ain't said nothing but a word. The way I would love to be an eco. What is it that Poison Ivy calls herself? An eco terrorist? Like,
period.
yo.
Well, you already got your techno alter ego. Now we need your your eco alter ego, and then I'll have to figure out mine, and we'll set to work. We're looking for any fellow villains who want to join with us in this undertaking, because as of right
Oh
now,
no.
like that thing
Uh
that we've all been blinking at each other on the internet to get done still hasn't happened.
yeah.
So we need to
Oh,
figure it
hold
out.
on. Uh did you already pull this one up? Tashi, y'all handled it amazingly regardless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I was saying thank you to her
Oh,
earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying.
yeah. Oh, sorry. What is
No, no.
Bam talking about? I didn't see a lot of. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Bama. Yeah, there are better options in terms of recycled stuff. And while I admit it took me a while to get comfortable with that, because like you want things brand new all the time. Like that's something I had to really unlearn. I had to unlearn that not just in technology, but like in fast fashion and like clothing and there's so many facets of life where it's just you have to unpack so much stuff, especially when like your focus is on environmentalism. Like there's so much you have to unpack. So like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do a bit more research and have some more conversations with him, behind, off camera and stuff. Because I have more questions.
We're not
Bama is
trying to
saying,
ignore you, Bama.
right.
You were dropping your spitting your hot fire about AI. We're like,
Yeah.
But we know you, Bama, we know. And then when you came in, we seen you too, but we like have come to this understanding that there's certain stuff we can't say within like the first 15 minutes of the chat. So we will bring up your boobies when we can. And
Wait, you
Bama said,
recycle a computer? Yeah, you can. Certain parts of it, you can, especially if that's why I like when people build their own computers, even though it is more expensive, because then you
yeah.
can like understand like the different parts of it. But yeah, you can recycle
Low-key
certain
all tech.
parts.
Like
Yeah.
prime example of that is my son got a new TV as a birthday present.
Mhm.
And if you look it up, like we end up taking his old TV. You can recycle it for free if it's under a certain size, and if it's over a certain size, it's like a small fee. But we took that TV right up to Best Buy so they could recycle it. And I literally do anything. If I'm recycling anything that has like a type of battery in it, I check
Mhm.
Best Buy or I check local places where you can like safely recycle technology, because
Yeah.
same thing with medications. A lot of people don't think about that, but like old or expired different types of medications, there's safe ways to dispose of them versus just dumping them or whatever.
Yeah. Agreed.
Rachel said yes, especially the expensive metals inside. 100%.
Yeah. Twisted Little Maker over on Instagram says fast fashion is a soapbox I will never get off of. Oh my goodness. When I learned about just like how devastating fast fashion is, like that made me change up how I buy a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like I still
Just
slip up from time to
those
time, I'll be
landfill
honest.
stats. Yeah, the landfill stats about what percentage of fast fashion ends up in a landfill. I was like,
I mean,
my fibers were gasted.
yeah, and even like the secondhand economy, like if you go to a thrift shop or whatever, and the fact that it is, it is what you call it. What's the word? Like in fast fashion, dang, I forgot what I was gonna say. But I've changed up like how I buy things. And like right now I have what is it called? I have a capsule wardrobe where just like throughout the year, this is what I have. Like I used to have like this giant walk-in closet with all this crap in it. And now I have just enough clothes to like fill the top row of my closet. And I share it with my husband, which I was never able to do a few years ago. Like, okay, what is LT saying? I think the ultimate question for the Afrofuturists is how do we create the technologies we want to see and use versus the ones that have been created for us to use.
Yeah, I think a big piece of that is like supporting those of us who are doing that type of work. Because like I know my ministry is not going to be technology, but every time I see, the youth them going to some tech camp or fund my way to go to college and this and that and whatever, like even down to our own kids, it's like you have to invest in the futures you want to see. So I think that's the biggest part. So like when we're on the soapbox about like disparaging treatment in educational communities and wanting us to promote literacy for everyone and all of that. That's like the very like grassroots bare bones of it. Like, how much different will our futures look like if those of us coming up under us aren't reading or don't care about their education or don't have the resources, time, or energy to invest in their own educations? You know what I'm saying? So I think, like, while it's fun to kiki and everything else, the roots of of everything that we're doing is like even the Afrofuturist like viewpoint of it, like what we were saying in the beginning. If you can infect someone with that ideal with a comic book or a novel or a great TV show, or even them just seeing like, oh, it's okay for me to be a Black nerd and like what I like and be educated and present myself in a certain way, like, you know, even if we're just the catalyst for somebody else because the space was welcoming and easy to digest, I think that makes a world of a difference.
Yeah.
What do you
Very
think, Tisha?
true. No, I agree. I'm just, yeah, I agree. I'm just having to process it all right now.
Yeah, y'all, the way that I seen the Blerd library cogs turning, I was like, oh man, you can like y'all see it, you know, on a weekly basis, but and y'all are privy to a lot of the conversations because we're very open and honest here in this space.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I get to see the other sides of the Blerd library conversation, and the way that I was like, oh, I can see the weight of the impact of this already. And y'all
Yeah.
have heard her say it a couple of times, like her whole posture and demeanor changed. So it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's, I mean,
I'm
we
gonna
love
have
it.
to,
It's also wild to see as well.
if anything, like I said, like LT's been saying too, like definitely wanting to make sure that I'm living what I'm saying. And I think that's the one thing everybody should take away from like the conversation.
Yeah.
Tashi says, I like back market. I buy everything refurbished. Yo.
Period.
The
We love
way I love
environmental
buying
clean.
things secondhanded, like especially furniture, wood furniture. Oh man.
Also, like after knowing a few of the homies like worked for Best Buy and worked for some of those other type of places when I was in college with them, and they were talking about like a lot of that stuff that says refurbished is really actually just open box. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it, like, and you save so much money. There's so many angles to that.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim came back and said, hey
But
guys, thanks so much for having me on tonight. I did a quick illustration for you guys on Instagram. I tagged you. Peace.
oh
Okay,
nice. Yeah.
period. We're gonna have to check that out. We love the love. Thank you so much for
Oh, wait,
coming
hold
through.
on. Over on Instagram, Sexy Red says Thomas Sankara said it best. We don't want the processed foods, we want the machines to make it. Put production in the hands of the community.
Period.
Yes. Take capitalism out of the picture. We want to just be able to help our community. Absolutely.
Bama said, wait, I could take my old TV to Best Buy. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Okay, LT said, thanks for coming through, Dieselfunk. This rich discussion is making me examine my use of technology, period. I think all of us. Rachel said, if it's big, you might have to pay a small fee. Facts. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Bama, I'm going to have to lovingly call you out. So what you're doing, I'm not condoning in terms of how you're using that AI. I'm not going to say it on the podcast or anything like that. I'm just saying, you know, I don't know how to say it any other way. Just, if you can tell, me and Bree don't condone using AI. It's not something we're going to encourage in folks. So I'm gonna say respectfully, you know, we're gonna put a pause on that conversation.
Yeah, that's why. So I tried to say it nicely without, bringing too much attention to any specific person. But that's why, if you notice, I try to do my best to go through the comments and catch everybody and highlight them or bring them up. If I'm skipping over something, I'll say probably like 4 out of 10 times it's because y'all are roasting me about liking sugar on my grits. But the rest of the times, it'll be something that doesn't align with our views or our morals. So we're opting to not highlight it. And then a very small percentage of it is stuff that I just missed because we were like deep in conversation. So please charge it to our heads and not our hearts. We love every single one of you viewers for coming through and showing up for us and adding to the conversation. Just know that we stand on business about the things that we support and don't support.
But no, I definitely, that conversation was needed. I really just want to like get it together. I hope everybody else came, like took something from that.
The way that people popped in like right in the middle of that conversation, so I didn't like pull up the comments then, but they were like, "Oh, I'm late," and I was like,
yeah, like oh.
You popped in the depths of the conversation,
right. But like I understand what you were doing, Bray. I just don't want anybody to think that we just letting things go or like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
that's the only time I'm a bring
And
it
listen,
up.
we have already talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Keisha is the Malcolm to my Martin. And we're not going to filter either side, you know, just that's how it's going to be. So, but again, all of it is said with love. Keisha. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. What my face? My bad.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so another thing that we were going to talk about today, will only take up a couple more minutes, is things that we've been watching lately. Because we definitely want to highlight BIPOC projects and that sort of thing, or tell you something that's interesting that we've been watching. Period.
I will fix my face.
Yeah, you say that, but I don't think you know all the time.
I didn't until you started laughing. And then when you sent the text earlier, that's when I tried really hard. I just yeah.
This is how blunt and real she is with y'all, because the way that they didn't even need to know that I texted you about your face earlier. Y'all, this is like, okay, I just want to bring everybody's attention to the beginning of the show when I was like, my name is Darshan. I'm taking that shit back because I may not be that girl on the tech end, but I definitely be putting in work on this.
Fix your face.
There you go. Okay. Okay, yeah, I know my face was doing things too. That was me letting the cogs turn, and then you peep how immediately thereafter I would be like, like, you know what I mean? The way that, yeah. Okay. We are going to politely move it on along.
Right,
okay,
so
what I wanted to say
before we talk about we could talk about what we watched first, because I think we watched the same amount, right? You only watched one episode?
Correct.
Okay, I only watched one episode too. In fact,
Okay.
I'm gonna watch another one after this tonight.
Yes.
Because that first episode was crazy.
What we're referring to is, of course, Eyes of Wakanda. The way that I was sat, okay, because the way that we showed up for Ironheart, I wanted to make sure we show up for this project too, which clearly worked because it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. You know what I'm saying? So it's doing numbers. We love to see it. Yeah, I only watched the first episode because I was preparing for some other stuff, and my son holds the law of the land in what we watch when we're spending time, just for my sanity.
And let me guess, it's currently K-pop Demon Hunters, because that's what my son is watching.
Man, the way that he cycles through the things that he's obsessed with, and he is absolutely obsessed with like Hanna-Barbera things right now. So like, yeah, those like old school, like before I was type of cartoons, like Snagglepuss and all those other types of things. He loves that stuff right now. So it's literally
Yeah.
like I pulling teeth to get him to watch something modern or something that I want to watch. And outside of that, he's like has a rotation of comfort movies that like go in between, because I don't know if any of you guys have any awesomely autistic people
Man
in
of
your life,
culture.
but him linearly watching a full movie from the beginning to the end is not a thing. It's not a thing. He'll do it if I absolutely like press him to, which I rarely do. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, otherwise he's hopping between, like, I can't be mad because I'm a mood reader. I do the same thing with my books. But he will literally like switch up the steez in between. So right now, the movies that are getting rotated are Frankenweenie and
Okay.
Fantastic Mr. Fox, and then the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. So yeah, I only got to watch one episode of Eyes of Wakanda, but the episode fire.
Amazing.
Yes, I love this art style. It's weird because it's like in between Into the Spider-Verse and the Prince of Egypt.
With a little bit of like the extorted body proportions of what is it? It's kind of in K-pop Demon Hunters, but it's also in Cloudy with a Chance of, like there's some where like the arms are super long and the legs are super, like I like it. It adds a level of interest like that I'm not really
Yeah.
paying attention.
But
But
still keeps it like youthful, which is why I
yeah.
wasn't expecting the like darker themes that we got in that first episode based on based on the, I mean, I'm here for it, but based on the previews that I seen and the art style, I was expecting it to be more like lighter than what it was.
No, they said no, we're gonna, this is for adults, this is for older
Yeah.
people. This
Yes.
is for, yeah. I enjoyed the crap out of it. Just having like this former Dora Milaje who is, you know, trying to find her own path.
I
It
can't follow what y'all doing. Yeah.
it was so good. And it had me wanting to go back and watch the original Black Panther movie, because I'm like 90% sure that that weapon that fell to the bottom of the water, I firmly believe it was the same one that pops up in the first Wakanda movie. So
First Black
now,
Panther movie.
oh yeah, first Black Panther movie. So like I want to rewatch that and then come back to Eyes of Wakanda just to like make sure. Don't tell me, please, chat, please don't tell me if I'm right or not. I want the joy of finding it out myself.
Yeah, and yes,
Right.
Bama, you do need to watch K-pop Demon Hunters. The
It is
way,
amazing.
yeah, it's very peak. The songs are good. Really, that's all you need to convince me. It's a BIPOC story with good songs, and I'm gonna wear it out. The way
The
that
way
Golden went triple platinum in this house. Play with
how
me,
we
boy.
do is on, I play it every single morning. Every single morning.
Period. I
Love
love that.
that. But nah, I gotta finish watching Eyes of Wakanda. It's I'm embarrassed to say that I have not finished it, but it's fine. It's
Not
fine.
because I wanted to take time. The way that I was like trying to sneak and watch the second episode, but like wasn't able to fully attend, and I was like, I know I'm gonna miss stuff because the visuals in that first episode were very
Yeah.
lush and intricate in a lot of ways. And I was just like, I remember when I was watching it, I was like, oh man, this misunderstood dude that they're sending her out to go get is giving peak Keisha's gonna eat that shit up, because we
It's so
love
good.
we love a rationalized villain. I think we had this conversation when we went on New Blerd Order. The homies over there kind of disagreed, but like as like avid readers over here, it's very much like your villain needs to make sense to me in order for
Yeah.
me to respect why they're doing it, and to like give their like intelligence some level of credence, because if it's just like, oh, I'm just being evil for the sake of evil, it
No,
feels
no.
lazy to me. It feels
Yeah.
it feels lazy and like a throwaway,
a-
and like, why do I care about what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a level of chaos that, at least at this time of my life, I can't quite get behind. But no, the lion was a really interesting antagonist. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's quite a villain for me, but definitely a really good antagonist.
Yeah, he
I'm
wasn't allowed to go to his full potential, but I think that
Yeah,
like piquing her interest in terms of like what's really going on where you are, that
yeah,
is an excellent like foundation to lay a story on. So
yeah,
that's why I was just like, ooh, that was a solid first episode, because it gave us
yeah,
everything that I think anybody was expecting out of this series. So I'm interested to see where it goes from that episode.
yeah. But like, I knew it was gonna be really good only because of who wrote it.
Mm.
And shout out to Jeffrey Thorne. He wrote that first episode. And I've heard that it's different people writing different episodes, or like
Which
the
I think is
episodes.
good.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
like once I saw it was Jeffrey Thorne, and I'm like, all right, I'm in for something really good, because he was doing, and I forget the title of the run, but it's X Force. He did the latest run for X Force,
Oh,
and
okay, that
where
makes
Forge,
sense.
yeah, where Forge is in charge, and that X Force is really good. Like, even me, someone who is not someone who necessarily reads X-Men or anything like that, like, I enjoyed X Force, so I was like, all right, I know I'm in for a nice little treat. So I can't wait for the rest of these episodes,
Period.
but I'm forced to watch them with hubby because
Not
that is
forced.
I'm not allowed to watch it without him. So as soon as this is over, I'm gonna go wake him up and go,
That's hilarious.
we need to watch the second episode, please.
So
I've waited for it.
the thing that I'm watching as soon as we get out of here, hopefully, well, actually, my sister is visiting, and this show is maybe not her bag, so maybe not as soon as we get off here. But another thing that I'm watching and excited to get back to is Washington Black. It's
Mm.
on Hulu, and it's based off of the book of the same title. And it has our guy. He was the brother in the original Black Panther movie. What is his name? I'm terrible
Okay.
with actor names. Killmonger's dad.
Put Panther. Sorry. Put
What are
Panther
you
close to my
laughing at?
daddy's chest.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Keisha, why are you like this? But yeah, the guy who played Killmonger's dad in the first Black Panther, he's one of the main characters in Washington Black. And if you're not familiar with the story, it's a good one. I don't want to share too much, but
Huh?
I like the direction that the show is going in, and it has like
Mhm.
it's interesting conversation about like being white passing, and then
Mm.
yeah, I don't. It's a good story. It also has like action and adventure, because there's pirates and there's like uh yeah, I don't want to give spoilers if you're gonna go watch it and haven't read the book, but it's a good show.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely check that out. I will say, while this is not a strictly BIPOC story, because of, okay, I've gotten Bree to watch the Chit series
Oh
on
my
online.
gosh.
So like, if y'all have not already, I need y'all to go watch Chit. Do it, lady.
Do it
Like,
like the way that I tried to, y'all. Okay, wait, I have to spill this tea. The whole time at San Diego Comic-Con, Keisha was like, "Ooh, I think I want to get a tattoo. I want to get a tattoo or a piercing. I want to get a tattoo or a piercing." Da, 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 da. I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And the way that our lives were booked and busy, we weren't able to do it. But so I was like, "Okay, she's down for the shenanigans." The way that I was screaming laughing because I seen this woman get a "Do It Lady" tattoo, and it had like a little, what do you call it, the little shapes that the, you know how like in comics it'll be like bang pow zap, and they're
Yeah.
in like the little squiggly
Yeah.
bubbles. It said "Do
Uh-huh.
it, lady." It was in one of those bubbles, and I was like, "Is that
Oh
gonna
my
be our Pink Riot tattoos?"
god.
And y'all, she had the nerve to ignore when I sent it to her.
Oh, because I didn't understand that. So my
Oh
bad.
my gosh. Okay.
But
Yes,
no,
do it, lady.
do it like okay, so
Do it,
like
lady.
because of Chit, right? There's this the black woman that's in a lot of those skits, Lyric. She's
Mm.
part of that whole comedy company. But she was on this show called AP Bio, which is fucking hilarious. It's about this philosopher. He was a professor at Harvard, but something happened at work, his fault mostly, but he ended up having to leave in disgrace from Harvard, so he's back in his hometown in Toledo that he absolutely hates, and he is teaching one class, AP Bio, not even teaching it. He hates what he's doing, but he's there. And these kids are trying desperately to learn biology because they are a good group of kids who are really smart. But he absolutely refuses, and instead of teaching them, he spends his entire time trying to get back on his nemesis and all of that. And so like the black lady from Chit Skits, she's in that show. She's one of the teachers in that show. And so
Mm.
because of that, I've been binging AP Bio, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Love that for you.
but
And in terms of pulls, the way that is about to be chaos when we finally do them, because we've all been all over the place and haven't been able to get to our local comic shops. My comic shop is probably like, I'm probably about to get one of those emails like,
can you come pick this up?
yes,
It's
can you
fall.
come get your shit? Right, yeah, it's been a hot minute because it's been back to back to back to back things. But yeah, so the only thing that I even have for pulls is Monstrous Book 3 came out, guys. And I'm so juiced because I got it as a birthday present.
I'm
And
so happy for you. I
listen,
really am. I'm just like butthurt right now because I really want to get book 3.
oh my gosh, the way that I've been just itching for it too, because it took everything in me. You know how terrible I am, Keisha. It took everything in me not to buy the volumes and just wait for the hardcover
Yeah.
book so that my set matches, because the way my FOMO was set up, I was just like,
No, the set has to match.
exactly. So I was just like, been waiting and waiting and waiting.
That's why, because I just finished Monstrous Book 2.
Yes.
I'm gonna say like a day ago.
Oh, dang.
Yes. Yeah. I waited a long time to get to book 2. But I don't know. I was like, I wanted to wait until book 3 came out because I needed it. And I thought book 3 came out in mid-August. I thought I was doing something reading it at this time, but it's fine. It's completely fine. But yeah, like I love Monstrous. Oh fuck yeah. Like I loved book 2, y'all. Yeah. If you haven't read Monstrous already, please read it. The artwork, as always, is phenomenal.
Sana
And
Takada is insane.
the politics is so messy.
Yeah.
Like a part of me wanted to like try to create a flowchart or like put arrows to figure out who actually is who and who hates who and all of these things. Oh my goodness. I've never met like dads are frustrating, and in this comic specifically, I truly despise the main character's father.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
I love this one so much. So yeah, that's what I read, and I'm very proud of myself. And then I also finally read Fumes, which
I just got my copy. I have to post my unboxing. Huge thanks to Shy.
MSHI is amazing. I found is based off of a short story that she did in one of her short story anthologies, but like this one was so good. The aliens in it reminded me of War of the Worlds, I think. Like
Mm.
that I'm enjoying. I want a second one. I need a second one. Like as soon as I finish, I like message Shy and I'm like, look,
Listen, if
look,
you need beta readers before you drop the next, hit your girls up.
yo, let me know. But no,
Period.
I really enjoyed Fumes quite a bit.
Yes.
The artwork is incredibly violent and gory, which is my kind of thing, and dark and gritty. There are some part like look at that.
Yeah.
Like she just goes off. And you can tell like there's this connection between the main character and these aliens, but it doesn't really come out in this first issue. So like I messaged Imshai and I was like, look, ma'am, what's going on? Where are we with this next issue? Because
What do we got to do to get this going?
yeah, like do we need to send a care package or something like that? Like I
We
need
might need
this
to do that
expeditiously.
anyway. Because she definitely just hooked us up. So yeah, you
Yeah,
guys
she
will
did.
get to see a little more
Definitely.
detail of that. And then the last thing that I have to share before we go is, okay, do you guys remember us talking to you about Kiana Mai's I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so she did a like Kickstarter-ish thing to raise money via Makeshift,
Mhm.
and they make plushies of characters. And I got my plushie. Look how cute she is. And she's holding a slice of pizza.
Cause she wants to be an average girl.
Yeah, this is her
She
in her
wants to
regular
be
fit.
basic in school and go to school.
Yes.
Oh
I love
man.
her so much, and she's so soft. And they're doing another one of like her little star sidekick. And it took everything in
I
me not
need
to get
that
that
one.
too. It took everything
That
in me
is
to get it too.
I need the star because in that episode, this shit was hilarious. That one was cursing up a storm and was like, yo, I'm fucking done with this. I love
Very
yeah,
cute.
yeah, yeah. Please send
So
me the
yeah,
link so I can get the
yes.
star.
Yes, guys, if you haven't already, go to Kiana Mai. Let me put her name in the chat so you guys can find her. Woo.
Cause yeah, that is super cute.
Period.
Yes, yes. Oh
Right?
man. So
Bama said if you buy it second, support your local comic book store. Period.
yeah. If
But
you go to Second and Charles, they have a real I mean, the entire store is mostly secondhand. They have some new stuff, but for the most part, it's like almost all secondhand. That's why it's called Second and Charles. I love that store, you know,
I need you to look at her
but
hair.
I love that plushie. It's super adorable and kind of want it, especially with the star puffs.
The Star Pups.
It's super cute. And that animation was great.
Yes.
Oh
Period.
man. All right. But next week, oh my goodness. Next week is gonna be big because we have Ella
Another
McKinney,
special guest.
right? We have Ella McKinney coming in, and she's gonna be talking about Nubia 2 Rail, which is the sequel to Nubia Real 1.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I'm
And
so
she's
excited.
not just a legend in comics. She's like got her hands in all of the cookie jars doing all of the things.
And
So
everything.
yeah.
Oh
So we're
man.
excited to have her. So definitely set your reminders because we're gonna be at the same damn place at the same damn time because we don't take no weeks off, y'all. You know how we do. So yeah, we appreciate y'all for coming through and showing love and showing Tim Fielder love. We appreciate him for coming by. Make sure that you like, share, follow, comment, subscribe on all US platforms, and make sure that you include. I know, right? What? But listen, y'all.
No,
Keisha was
it's been months in the making. The way
yes.
I went into this woman's DMs, it was like, can you come?
Can you come? It's very peak. So make sure you set your reminder so you don't miss that. shout out to all of our Patreon subscribers who are already in the Riot fam that way. If you haven't already, head on over to the link in our bio. Check out the link in Linktree so you can sign up for our Patreon, because we spill all of the tea early. They get the inside scoop about who's going to be on the show, where we're going next, where you might see the two Pink Riot fam ladies in person together again soon. Yeah, we're spilling all of the tea in there first. Also, whenever we get ready to do our next giveaways, they get the tea first and they get point multipliers. It's a vibe. We have a free tier, and then there's obviously paid tiers. And the further they go up, the more access you have to what we're doing and what we talk about and share on the show. So definitely check it out. It's also the only place where you'll get the preview link when Keisha drops the pre-order opportunity to get her glorious artwork via notebook, poster, or short box format. They're going to be very limited, and you definitely don't want to miss out on that. So make sure that you are subscribed to the Patreon so that you don't miss out, because once those spots are closed for the quarter, they're closed, and you're going to have to wait until she gets the gumption again. And the way that she puts her heart and soul into these things, I feel like it will be pretty limited. So don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I've never done anything for you, because when you miss it, you miss it. That's it. That's all. If you liked what you've seen on our episode today and you want to see more of our shenanigans, scroll up or down, check out some of the other videos on our YouTube. Even if you're not going to watch it, just let a few episodes play in the background, because those views really benefit us. And like we said, if you want to see what we're talking about with LL McKinney next week, make sure you set that reminder and be sure to tune in, because we'll be in the same place at the same damn time, because we love y'all, so we don't take no weeks off. And we'll holler at y'all next time. Love you, mean it. Bye.
Later. I definitely found more. All right, how many variants are there?
11.
Damn. Go ahead. No.